Hey guys, it's Benjamin Zamish, author of Creating Freedom and the founder of Move, Learn, Create, and welcome back to Thematic Serenity, where I am helping people to become more receptive to the magic of life. And how are we doing that? Well, step by step, we are beginning to understand and then align ourselves with the mechanics of this creation. And in doing that is what will allow us to consciously evolve further into the human possibility and really in our day-to-day experience, just experience the magic of life that is available to us. So this is episode 18, and we are going to talk about where your light will shine the brightest, no matter who you are, no matter what it is that you're doing, no matter what it is that you're meant for and where you came from. How and where will your light shine the brightest? So we have to come at it like this. Have you ever wondered if the mistakes of your past will forever overshadow the possibilities of your future? Have you wondered if the mistakes of your past will forever overshadow the possibilities of your future? Or have you felt like, either by complacency or outright wrongdoing, you have somehow allowed a darkness into you, a darkness into your being, into your life that will prevent your light ultimately from shining no matter what you do now? Like there's this point of no return, this line in the sand, and if you go past it, beyond this line, there's no chance of redemption, and we feel like we've crossed it. And oh my God, this has tortured me, plagued me, persecuted me. These thoughts, I was such an awful person. I hurt so many people. I allowed so much darkness into my life, both through complacency and, the outright wrongdoings. And I spent years, after I turned my life around, I spent years peeking around corners to see if there was any disastrous karma there lurking, waiting to just smash me on sight, because it had to be there because of all of the bad things that I did. And it took me so long to get free from this inner turmoil, just the inner turmoil directly connected to this one aspect of the struggle. It took me so long. And even after my life situation had completely transformed, to the point where those things were so far back there, I couldn't even see them really in the rearview mirror anymore. But on some level, I knew that I was still kind of preparing myself, for disaster to strike. No matter how good things got for me, there was always a part of me that felt like it must be the calm before the storm, the deep breath before the plunge, and that something was going to come and just wreck me out of righteous retribution, by the universe for all the atrocities that had been committed by my hand. And eventually, this all passed, and I was able to see with so much more clarity the mechanics of that thing that we really so juvenalistically call as karma. We just really don't actually know what it is that we're talking about. We don't actually know what karma is, right? We just have these mental constructs of right and wrong that have been woven deeply into our view of the world, and we live within these frameworks so totally that eventually they become our greatest obstacle. They become this limitation of the mind that we're so anchored in that it becomes the most difficult thing for us to overcome. So the truth is that it's not really the things that we've done that are holding us back. It's our attachment to them through the mental constructs that have given them significance. Okay? It's not actually the things. It's not the things we've done. It's our attachment to them, and we're attached to them because we think they're significant still. And the reason we think that is because we live within these, so many mental constructs. So the freedom that you're looking for is not really freedom from your past or forgiveness for your actions from some outside source like we tend to think it is. This freedom that you're seeking comes simply from absolute involvement in the present and forgiveness from yourself. Okay? That's all it takes. And what is this freedom? What is this thing that's in store for you, when you overcome these self-imposed obstacles? Well, that's all I ever talk about. I mean, if you ever watched me or listened to me talk ever, I can't stop shouting about it. It's the liberation, the salvation, the deliverance, the heaven on earth, the entire reason that I'm here talking at all. It's everything. It is the thing that every cell in your body was built to drive you towards. It's the reason that life is happening. It's the liberation of our desire. It's the endless expansion. It's the experience that we've been empowered to have. The reason that we're suffering at all is because there's an unexpressed possibility. So when I talk about freedom, I'm just talking about this possibility that exists within you for an experience that is there. And finally creating a space and cultivating a system that allows that possibility to express itself in the world in a real way that will be tangible and actually experiential for you. So how do we approach this in a way that will actually allow us to gain real traction in our struggle against these limitations? Well, we have to get a clear view on what it is that we're up against. We have to actually acknowledge in a real way the nature of our obstacle that we're seeking to overcome. And the obstacle is simple. It's a perspective that we have allowed ourselves to make our own. It's just a way of seeing the world that is determining our experience that we've allowed to really become a concrete fixture in our being. That's the obstacle. So this view of the world, it did not come from an honest inventory of that world. It didn't come from a thorough analysis of the things that were within our experience as a piece of life. Okay, it's a bunch of assumptions based on vague belief systems that we accepted when we were children and then decided that we didn't have the time or the energy to go back and address and analyze once our brain was fully functional. It's kind of like we're all like, where did we come from? Where are we going? What are we supposed to do? Like, I don't have time for this nonsense. I have bills to pay. These are questions for children, is how we're kind of approaching this. And I don't know that's working out for us. Maybe we should take this seriously now that we have the capacity and the ability to really look at these things in a clear way. So that is what I'm doing. So let's look at this. If what we are up against is just a perspective, okay, if it's just a bunch of nonsense that we basically allowed to get mixed up in the material that we use to build our foundation, okay, so when we built the foundation for our life, when we built the key assumptions, the key belief systems that became the basis, the bottom layer, the literal foundation upon which we constructed our life. If that's the problem, then really this is not a huge task. This is not a huge obstacle. This can be remedied and rectified fairly easily because it's within us. These are things that were done within us, they exist within us, and they can be undone in the same way. It's all our responsibility, and we are empowered and capable, every single one of us, to go in and undo these things. It just takes some focus and attention. When we were children constructing these things, these constructs, and building our identity, we were absolutely involved. We were absolutely focused. Our entire being was committed to this process. So now, that we're kind of fragmented and scattered, it seems so much more difficult for us to accomplish these very simple, very natural, very basic tasks that are just simple aspects of what it means to be human, things that we did, effortlessly as children. It's just that now we have to consciously choose what's important. We are, our mind won't let us get completely involved in something in that way that was so easy for us as children. Our mind won't let us involve ourselves in anything unless it really is convinced that it's worth it, and that there's something that it's going to get out of it in the end, basically, which is why a video comes out every week for you. So, first of all, get back on track here. All of those things that happened, which we've decided, created all of this karma for us, all of those things in the past, that we think we're required to suffer from. When did it happen? In the past. It happened in the past. So step one, what is the past? Where is it? Show it to me. Bring it out and let's deal with it. Bring it out and I'll handle it for you. Show it to me, and then we can decide together how relevant it is. You see what I'm saying? It's not real. It's just an idea. It's a story that you keep telling yourself, and the wildest part is that the story doesn't even stay the same. It's not even a fixed story. It's not even one concrete story. The story changes every day, multiple times a day based on how you feel in the present moment. So it's not real, it's a story, but we don't even stick to the same story about the past. That itself is fluid and subject and influenced by all these, these things, these present moment emotions and feelings and prejudices and things that color, our narrative that we carry around with us. So the real problem is that we can't even control our way of being in the now, in the present. So we can't even maintain a consistent view of this past that supposedly has so much power over us. Okay? And the crazy thing is, it's not even affecting us right now. We're just taking the idea of our past, and then we apply that significance, that subject, totally subjective to how we feel right now. We take that significance and then we project it onto our imagined idea of our future, which is also not real, also doesn't exist. The entire thing is arbitrary. And I mean, if we were doing this consciously, if you were going into your memory, and playing with it consciously, creating your imagination, your future consciously, doing all of these things consciously to create joy and playfulness, in awe and wonder or whatever, I would celebrate it and say, congratulations. Now, you're really taking advantage of these incredible benefits of being a human being, because that's what makes us a human being, right? The power to go into the past through our memory or to go into the future in our imagination. That's what allows us to build these worlds for ourselves and climb up the ladder, of possibility so that we can externalize our potential. That is what it means to be human, but we're not doing it consciously. We are suffering something that is completely a fantasy and completely in our own control. We're wide awake, but we're living in some kind of dream that has gone out of our control, that keeps torturing us day to day. I mean, this is just no way to live. I feel like I should wrap the video up right there, like there's no need to continue, because that really, shuts the whole conversation down. But okay. We had to start there. We had to go there because that's the truth. But let's say we're not ready to make that leap yet. Okay, that's a big step. It's hard. I have to say it, because maybe that's what you need to hear. Maybe that's where you're at, or maybe you're going to come back to this at some point, and that part is really going to resonate with you and help kind of push you over a hump of some kind that might be there. But for most of us, we can't take this leap. We can't go there all at once, because the past is very real in our experience. I mean, very real. It's affecting us in so many ways. And the future is the very reason for everything that we're doing in the present moment. So you can't, it's not fair to take this approach where we just discount the significance of these games that we're playing with ourselves. Because are they games that we're playing with ourselves? Yeah, absolutely. And is it out of control? Yes, but it is significant. It is affecting us in a very real way. So most of us aren't going to just, hop out of this pickle, this conundrum quite so easily. And I certainly didn't. So what changed things for me ultimately? What actually pulled me up out of this aspect of the human struggle? Well, it's very simple. So for me, the darkness was very real. Very, very, very real. And the light was also very real. And I could clearly see at a certain point that there cannot be one without the other. We're talking about realms of experience that are dependent on duality. They're dependent on an opposite. You cannot have a front of the book without the back of the book. You cannot have the top without the bottom. You can't have the inside without the outside. This world of opposites that allows the experience of life to happen on not only this, but many dimensions, entire dimensions of experience, it's necessary. Okay, so you can see that you can't have one without the other. It doesn't it doesn't make any sense to think, oh, we can just have light, everything's all light all the time and that's how it should be, because then there would be no such thing as light. Light is just a statement that is defined by its contrast to the darkness. Okay, if it was just light or if it was just dark, it would be neither of those things. It would simply be what is. So definitely there's a layer of reality, there's a layer of ourselves, there is a layer of the entire creation where neither light or dark is present and everything is merged into one, total unity, God, the source, Brahman, whatever. This is clearly there. Yeah, this is clearly there. We're not in a universe with no source. It is there and it is one and it is within all of us. But in our experience, light and dark are both present and they are both necessary for the other to exist. This is clear, okay? And so now the answer from there is really self-evident when you look at it. Both light and dark were created by the same source, because there's only one source. This source is within you, okay? So the only one judging you for your choices is the one who is making them, all right? You will hold yourself in bondage until the exact moment when you see the truth. That moment when you're gonna see it all and you're gonna bow down in gratitude, in unspeakable gratitude for all of this darkness on which the light is able to paint its glory. You're going to close your eyes and feel like you're literally drowning in bliss because of this knowledge that has set you free. And you're going to know that the light shines brightest when it emerges from the darkness. So thank you so much for joining me for this episode. This one is very personal to me. a huge part of my journey. I hope that this got through to you in some real way, if it's relevant for you at this point on your journey. If it is, please share it with someone else that you think that it will be relevant for as well. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And most importantly, go in the description for this video and take advantage, get involved, sign up for some of the free offerings that are there. I recommend just start at the beginning. Start with the free Momentum Masterclass, move on to the free Creating Freedom ebook, the free mini course that comes along with that. By the time you watch this video, I'll probably have the Manifestation Masterclass also available for free. So those are the things, the places where I'm able to really slow down, break it down, get very practical step by step, and work through these processes that empower you with tools to bring about real transformation and do what we said we were setting out to do at the beginning of the video, to make ourselves more receptive to the magic of life, to understand, to really understand and figure out how to align ourselves with the mechanics of this creation. So please get involved with that, and I can't wait to see you in the next video next week. Thank you.